A good game needs a good logo, a mark, a symbol, something graphic that can represent the game independently of the context. Let's take as an example Apple, Coca-Cola, KFC, McDonald's, Amazon. Whenever it's the logo, your brain automatically links the logo to the company, to the product, to whatever that logo represents. A logo of an object has to deliver what the object is simply, easily, it has to be effective, and it has to tell you what that object is about. And of course, doing that while being simple is not easy. So today, just like share with you real quick the process that kind of went through creating the logo for my game Quantum Ruins. Also like to welcome you all to my shower. I'm here sitting on the floor with my laptop here. I've got my notebook and I record the audio with my phone. I do it here because this is the most silent place in the whole house. So again, logos are not easy, especially for a game because there's a lot of information that you want to deliver. I knew that already for my game, the two words Quantum Ruins already deliver a lot of information. So I wanted to have those two words within the logo. And of course, the logo graphically has to reflect what the game is going to be about. So the very first logo that I did back in December is actually pretty simple. It's nothing particularly special. It's just Quantum Ruins spelled out. And I tried to do a very simple font. And what I did is that I used the colors of the tile sets that I had. So the tile set that I had for the mountain and the tile set that I had for the ruins. And I used those colors to color in the letters. I also added a contour and some sort of 3D shading, which not sure if it's correct, but I tried there. And overall, I'd say that it wasn't too bad. Now that I look back at it, there are a couple of things that I would modify for sure. So overall, I'd say that it wasn't that bad as a very first logo, but it was definitely missing in terms of personality, I'd say. I don't know, can a logo have personality? It doesn't deliver this idea of mystery, of you discovering something, and also in terms of the colors, I didn't really think about the colors that much. So the second time around, we actually sat down to brainstorm about the logo, I came up with a couple of ideas that I thought could work with the logo. The second time around, the very first thing that I worked on is just a simplified logo where I only have the Q and the R. I really like the idea of having something that fits in a square that is very easy to recognize, very simple in terms of the shape, and this one can be used basically anywhere to represent the game. Of course, the main problem with this is that since you don't have it all spelled out, those who haven't heard about the game before will not understand what the Q and the R stands for. However, I really like the shape. What I did for this is to give myself a set of rules. I can actually show you here the very first sketch that I did. What I tried to do with this is to make sure that the logo would fit within a square, and I worked a lot on symmetry. So as you can see, the two letters are symmetric and there are a lot of very sharp 45-degree angles. I limited myself to 45-degree angles because I knew that I wanted the logo to be in this pixel art style, and those angles can be nicely done with the pixels. So already with this limits in terms of the geometry and the angles, I could come up with something interesting to look at. We also have a very important feature, which is the curl in the Q. I really liked how this kind of breaks the symmetry there a little bit. The very first time that I drew this Q, I did it live on Twitch, and without thinking too much about it, I did a curl there, and I immediately liked that, and I knew that I wanted to keep that for the final logo. Of course, only the basic shape now doesn't deliver the Q. It's more like an O and an R. So in order to add the Q there, I had to add an extra curl there, and this one time I really wanted this curl to break completely all the 45-degree angles and all the robust structure that you can see in the Q and the R. I also really like how it intertwines from the Q and around the R. It ties everything together nicely, I think. At this point, once I had the shape, I thought about the colors. First of all, it was suggested during one of the Twitch streams that the logo must be readable and recognizable in black and white. That was a great tip because it made me realize how important the shape is independently of the color first. And indeed, only in black and white already works very well. You can recognize, hopefully, this logo. As for the colors, I've decided to mainly have 3 colors, and these 3 colors represent something within the scope of the game. We've got gray, purple, and a dark green. The gray, of course, represents the ruins. The game is mainly focused on exploring this ancient civilization which is lying in ruins, and I believe the gray represents very well the ruins that you explore. The purple here is the color that is going to be used for everything energy related, so it's the color that I associate with quantum. So already have a color for quantum and a color for ruins. So those 2 colors already tell a lot about the game, and you'll see those 2 colors in game a lot. For the third color, I decided to go for for a darker green because this represents all the nature that is going to be present in the environment. The environment that you're exploring is in ruin and is surrounded by nature. Nature plays a major role in the game as well. There's going to be jungle, mountains, I'd like to have a waterfall in there. So I believe that it's very fitting to have green as the third color in the logo. And I like to see the scroll here as the nature growing over the ruins, right? Of course, the logo is not final, but I believe that as a first sketch, it is actually pretty good already because it delivers all the main pieces of information that I want in terms of the shape, this robustness of the ruins, which are still standing there, and in terms of the colors. The next step now was to take this logo here and expand it to all the other letters so that I could have Quantum Ruins nicely spelled out, and I can use this all over my social media to represent the game and to deliver the name of the game to new players. I've really taken the time here to have each single letter look interesting and to have all of them look nice together as a whole. I played a lot with symmetry and with the angles here. If you have a look closely at the two words, Quantum has this descending profile. Almost all the angles go from up to down, they descend like that, while on Ruins we have the opposite. You can see it pretty nicely in the U. The U in Quantum and in Ruins are actually a mirror of themselves, and overall when you put them next to each other you have this nice V shape, and I really like this because the end of the V, the tip there, is actually in the R. The R is the largest letter, and at the very end that's where the big V is. This V configuration may be subtle, but it is definitely there. I also paid attention to the size of the letters, to the alignment, and to the spacing. I believe that these three aspects are very important. Of course, again, I'm not an expert in logo making. I'm just trying to do something that looks good, and I'm just following my instinct on what looks good or not. So to wrap things up, I started by thinking about what I wanted the logo to deliver. I worked with the shape of the letters and with the colors. I made sure that the logo was simple and that you could recognize it even if it was black on white. And when all spelled out, I tried to create some sort of interesting synergy between all the letters by playing with the angles and symmetry. I don't know what you guys think about the logo, but it's pretty good. I really like it. I look at it and I ask myself, is this a game that I'd like to play? And the answer is yes. I made something good there. It's not bad as a first time thing. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm gonna end here with all the entries that I have collected so far for the Pixelmania challenge. There were more than 100 entries for the first 3-4 days. If your entry is not here, it's gonna be in the next video. Don't you worry about that, but I'm pretty happy to see so many people participate. It's amazing. And on that note, I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. Stay productive, work productively on your project to go make a great logo for your game, and I'll see you guys in my next video.